Morning. And did you know that the typical domestic cat cannot make shrimp fried rice? It probably can't make noodles too. This is Jude Reynolds, and today our drink of choice, Powerade Zero. All right, we've not got a coffee this morning because I'm doing this whole energy drink this morning because I'm still doing this Gymshark 66 challenge. You basically pick 3 goals, do them every day for 66 days or as well as you can. I think most of the days so far, I think I'm 9-10 days in. And 8 of the 10 days I've gotten all 3 goals, and then the other 2 I've gotten 2. I think it's prayer, less caffeine every day, and exercise every day. Exercise every day, I've done it. Prayer every day, I've done it. And then there was twice where I had excessive amounts of caffeine. So I'm getting a lot better. It's just not perfect yet. So Powerade Zero. What I don't get about these energy drinks is that they say 50% more electrolytes versus the main competitors. I swear they all say that. So, at what point do you just become one big molecule? All right. So we need to give it a try anyway and pretend like I don't know what it tastes like. Really good. Powerade Zero, in my opinion, Powerade over Gatorade. I don't know if that's controversial because in UK you don't really get, I don't think you get much Powerade or Gatorade, unless I'm tripping, but Powerade I prefer over Gatorade. Today, I'm going to be missing the no energy drink because I've got a workout that I've taken from Ryan Douglas's Instagram. Shout out Ryan Douglas. It's a Hyrox specific threshold workout, but with the hybrid engine, there typically isn't a lot of long, extended Hyrox specific pieces because there are better ways to build your fitness than long Hyrox specific workouts. So if you're out there and you're training for Hyrox and all you're doing is doing Hyrox specific pieces, you're missing out on a lot of fitness. All right. So I've taken a lot of pages out of the Hybrid Engines book. Super intelligent programmer. I love to shout them out because I think Anthony Perricini is a bit of a programming genius. And I learned a lot from him. But yeah, so that's the plan this morning. I've then got a little bit of a strength piece after that. The Hyrox specific workout itself should take about 45 minutes. Before I go in, if 10 is like probably the best zero sugar electrolyte drink I've ever had and 0 is the worst, I'd put this at around an 8.35. All right, highly recommend Powerade Zero. Anyway, lacking on caffeine, lacking on sleep. Sleep's my own fault. For some reason yesterday, I thought the time was 9:15 and it was 11:15. I don't know how. I went up to my room at like 9, watched an episode or something, and then anyway, sleep was not good. So if we have to today, we back off. It's meant to be a double threshold day. And I might delay that to tomorrow, but I don't want to go in that mindset because then it's a lot easier to do that. So I'm going to go in with the full intention of doing it. Only if I see, bad patterns in my heart rate and my RPE and stuff like that, it'll be more optimal to just take in today as an easy day and then do it tomorrow once my sleep is hopefully a lot better. But anyway, we're going to go in and give that a shot. Okay. Good morning, class. Listen up. All right. So today's workout is inspired by the one and only Ryan Douglas. Shout out to you, my friend. We have 3 minute. It's meant to be run. But obviously I'm a bit disabled right now, so we're going to be doing the Echo Bike 1,000 meter ski, 3 minute Echo Bike, a lovely 2 minute rest. All right, 3 minute Echo Bike, 50 meters sled push at Hyrox Pro Feel, 3 minute Echo Bike, 80 meters of burpee, broad jump, 3 minute Echo Bike. That section sucks, by the way. Okay, that, lovely, love it, no issues. That one, gross, all right, disgusting. 2 minute rest, 3 minute Echo Bike, 200 meters farmer's carry at pro weight, into 3 minute Echo Bike, 100 wall balls to finish. Overall, this workout has, I think, 21 minutes of biking in it, or running if that's what you're doing. 100 wall balls to finish should be good. And I'm just gonna aim to hold 400 watts on the Echo Bike for my runs, because I think 400 watts for me feels, I'm just gonna let someone in. Do you mind if I record? Is that okay? Is that all right? That's about what race pace feels like when I come off it and go into it. So I'm thinking 400 watts should be okay with that. The ski, again, everything here is gonna be race pace. So ski is about 145 per 500 meters. Sled push, I'm gonna look to do in around 2 minutes 30. Burpee broad jumps, definitely looking to do that in under 3 minutes. That's what I did in Vancouver, so that should be fine. Then we've got the wall balls somewhere around 330. And then, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of up and down with the farmer's carry, so I'm not sure. But if we can figure out a way to get 32 kgs in each hand, then that would be ideal. But overall, the workout should take about 35 to 40 minutes. So, yeah, that should be fine. No worries, no worries. All good. Echo bike warm-up done. That was just 10 minutes in total, 2 minutes, just legs only, 140 watts, just getting my body moving. 5 minutes at zone 2, so that was 230 watts. Then it was 90 seconds at 320 watts, 90 seconds at 420 watts. That's not an exact formula. That's literally just following the principle of slowly increasing your heart rate with your last interval being at race pace, which for me, race pace in the Echo bike is gonna be about 400 watts. So definitely wanted to get 90 seconds in there for that. And now, again, like I said, just gonna touch the ski. I'm gonna do a little bit of sled, figure out what I'm gonna do for the farmers, and then just get everything set up so that I don't need to transition in between or with my 2-minute rest. Workout done, thank goodness. That hurt. Okay, that hurt more. It was meant to be a threshold workout, but when you finish with 100 wall balls, anyway, my intention with it was a threshold workout, and it was, but then when you have, a finisher of 100 wall balls, you can't really drop the ball when your heart rate hits 165. You can, all right, and sometimes it's logical to do that, but I don't want to. So, workout was, overall, in terms of how I performed, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. My performance on, actually, let me go classroom style, 1 sec. Nope, I didn't change shirt, I just changed color. Not like that. So, workout enjoyment was probably an 8 out of 10. The reason I got a 7 out of 10 for myself was a few key areas. First one is I pride myself on my pacing. Ergs, running, even though I'm not particularly good at running, my pacing is always really, really good, like I said as well with the ergs. Today it wasn't amazing, so if I use this color here, again, I'm a real nerd with like my data and stuff. I'm gonna try and make it a little bit more basic. If it's still boring, I'm gonna blame it on your attention span, but it could also be on me. Let me know which one that is. Pacing here. So, first thing first set of the Echo bike. I hope you can see me. First set of Echo bike, that was good. I held an average of about 411 watts. That was what I wanted. Section 2 was the ski. I held a 146.3 average per 500 meters. Again, that's standard race pace for me, so that felt fine. Second Echo bike was also at 411 watts, no issues. 2-minute rest, felt really good, felt really ready for here, where I also held 411 watts. On the Echo bike, if any of you know how to go back, I don't think there is a way, but if, I finished like 3 minutes ago. if any of you know how to go back and find the average data, I didn't set up anything. Like, you know, on the ergs you can set up a workout. I didn't set one up specifically on the Echo Bike. So I doesn't apply in this situation anyway. But if you know how to get your exact watts from your intervals, let me know. This is a rough estimate because on the screen I was anywhere from 395 to 428 for the majority of the way. So anyway, these are estimates. The ergs and the stations are exact. Sled push was 210. The sled felt exactly like it would in a Hyrox. The carpet's different, the weight's a bit different. Obviously it won't be exact, but it felt pretty similar to how I did in the Hyrox, so I was happy with that. It came off the sled, didn't feel too heavy. This bike here was somewhere between a 400 and a 411, so I was kind of trying to manage my heart rate before going into burpees. Burpees, hated the crap out of them, all right? I'm never going to enjoy having to get up and off the ground as a big boy, all right? So 2 minutes 50, happy with that, to be honest. Anything under 3 minutes right now, I'm chilling with. Vancouver, I had a 2:53, I believe, and this was 2:50, so again, pretty pleased. However, it did take a lot out of me. And by the way, 2:50 includes me walking from the bike. It includes about 10 meters of walking, all right? So let's say 2:47, all right? Second Echo Bike was somewhere between, I'd say the average, if I'm being fair, was probably at about 390 watts because I was hovering between 384 and 411 for most of that interval. Burpees kind of hurt a little bit, but also at the same time I knew after this Echo Bike I have a 2-minute rest. But then at the same time it's a threshold workout, so I don't want to just kill it for the sake of hitting over 400. So again, managing effort up until this point. This Echo Bike here was around 400. Anyway, 400 on that set of Echo Bike. I definitely say it wouldn't be under. I just don't think it was quite 411, so somewhere between 400 and 411. Now, this one was meant to be 200 meters of farmer's carry out pro weight, which is 32 kg in each hand. I didn't have it, but I wanted to keep the farmer's carry stimulus, and I might be doing Bilbao Open on the 7th of February, so just in case. We don't have kettlebells or dumbbells that go up to 32 in this section of the gym. So instead I did 225 of farmer's carry at 25 kg, which took me 2 minutes and 5 seconds. The caveat with that is that I was doing it up and down a 12.5 meter mat, so there was a lot of just back and forth, weaving around the sled at the back of the gym a little bit. But 205, I didn't drop them, and it was a light jog, so don't really know what that means, but it provided the stimulus I needed. Anyway, this Echo Bike here was the same, somewhere between 400 and 4, yes, that says 411. And then this kind of sucked as well. 339 the wall balls, and usually during a race, more often than not, I don't break, and they're probably my favorite station. Here, the Echo Bike took a toll on my quads, all right? I would say in terms of purely in this aspect, for me personally, this workout, Echo Bike on the legs took a lot more out of me than I thought it would. And so I broke at 40 and I broke at 70. So I broke twice, which again, I hate doing. I hate breaking on the wall balls, 339. Time isn't awful, but I don't like breaking twice on the wall balls. Anyway, overall, pretty good threshold workout. Thank you, Ryan Douglas, for that one. That was quite cool. Heart rate was in zone 4 for, I think, 85% of the workout, which considering I had 4 minutes of break, that was pretty perfect. I think I got into zone 5 on the wall balls, but other than that, it was pretty good. I mean, now I've got a strength piece to do. I'm gonna go home. 8, oh my gosh, I need to tell you guys about cheat day. One day, actually no, I'm gonna save it. So yesterday I had one of my cheat days, and if you know me, my diet is really, really strict 99% of the time. And because of that, my cheat days are huge. And so I haven't eaten anything yet, and it's 9:45. I've been up since 6. So not too bad, but I haven't eaten anything before my workout. I usually do, but I still feel a bit. So I'll take you guys through a cheat day one day. I go a bit over the top, so we're still working through that. It's fine. Okay, so in this section, I'm gonna talk you guys through the workout, but also my form on the ski erg. So this workout was my second threshold workout of the day. It was 5 times 1K on the ski. And on the ergs, I typically abide by the 4-to-1 work-rest ratio, just meaning in this circumstance here, however long the 1K took me, I would rest for a fourth of that time and then repeat for all those 5 intervals. And I'd have that programmed into the ski already. So here, the first bit of form I want to talk about is my stroke length. So my stroke length here is trying to optimize the point at which my body is the most powerful on the stroke. So for me, you'll notice at the top, I'm not reaching to full extension on the ski erg. I'm not reaching up with my hands fully extended and then pulling all the way down. I am braking at the hips, but I'm starting my initial pull at about my head height or shoulder height once I've pushed my hips back. This is because when your arms are fully extended, when your elbows are fully extended, you don't have a lot of power. Whereas when you bring them in closer to your body, meaning you're using a little bit of elbow flexion and driving your chest down with your hands, that is when you can optimize the amount of power you are using on the way down. You'll also notice that I'm stopping at about my knee height. Here, if you reach any lower than your knees, you're not using any of your major muscle groups at that point. And you'll also be having to bend your knees a bit too much, which is going to tire out your quads, and it's also just going to increase the time it takes to get from the bottom of the rep to the top. You want to optimize and maximize the amount of time that you're spending in that power position, which is going to be from about your height, your head height to your knee height. My next point is going to be on my SPM, so my strokes per minute. For me, I'm just over 6'3", and my strokes are about 47 to 49. At race pace at about 146. So you've just got to find what works for you. Whatever stroke rate you find that keeps your breathing in check but also doesn't fatigue your muscles too quickly, that's what you kind of have to work out for yourself. That's a very subjective metric. And so it's not sort of everyone should be somewhere between 40 and 45. There's a recommended range, but I would just sort of work through that for you. What works at your zone 2 pace? What works at your VO2 max pace? What works at your threshold pace? Penultimately, my damper. My damper is usually set on 3 to 4. Zone 2 is always on 3, and then anything quicker, sometimes I'll go to 4, and I'll rarely even put it to 5. So quite a low damper, especially when you want to get the fan moving at the start as quickly as possible. A low damper helps with that. Okay, so, upside down. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is 5 times 1K at race pace. My splits per 500 for that were 146.2, 146.1, 145.9, 146.1, 145.7. So not the mirrored splits I usually go for, but on the second set I missed it by like 0.1 of a second or something like that, and so I was just going off feel, which is what you're meant to do for thresholds anyway. So pretty pleased with that and how it felt. But just RPE 7, 8 max. So it should be difficult, but again, it shouldn't be a question if you're not injured or anything like that, if you should be finishing the workout. So again, I've talked about thresholds a lot. They're important. Again, RPE 8, that's relatively how you should look. You could probably do another 1 or 2 more at that sort of tempo with the same rest. So happy with that. I'm meant to have a GPP and a bunch of wall ball work actually, but I've done a lot recently. I did 100 this morning, and something like going from the burpees to the echo bike after my burpees this morning, something in my quads just went zap. I don't know what zap means, but if zap was personified, that would be the feeling in my legs. But if zap was a thing, that's what would be my legs. What? Anyway, I don't know. My legs are in pain. All right, so yeah, now I'll sort of take you guys through. So instead of a wall ball EMOM, I think I'm just going to swap that to a push press. Keep the similar sort of idea with the exercise. If I can't do anything lower body, close thing to a wall ball with no lower body is probably a barbell push press. So we're going to go for that.